Welcome to the Daily Decant, your 5-minute briefing on the world of wine. Each episode delivers practical insights to help you choose, order, and talk about wine with more confidence in everyday social settings. Let's get into today's decant. The big Sunday wrap on the food and wine pairing week, and I want to start with the framework that we established on Monday, because the entire week has been an application of the same 3 principles to different food situations. Weight matches weight, acidity and tannin cut fat. What grows together goes together. Let me show you how these 3 ideas explain everything we covered this week. Tuesday, we talked about seafood. Weight matches weight explained the entire spectrum, why delicate muscadet belongs with oysters and why a fatty tuna steak can handle light red. The acidity cuts fat principle explained why high acid whites are so consistently good with seafood. They do the same work as a squeeze of a lemon, and the regional principle explained why the crisp Loire whites and Atlantic oysters were made for each other. Why chocolate and Basque seafood always work. Why Italian whites and Italian seafood are so instinctively right. Wednesday, we talked meat. The weight principle explained the full spectrum from lean chicken breast needing light wines to rich braised short rib needing tannic heavyweights. The fat principle explained why a lean filet mignon and a big Cabernet is less ideal than you'd think, and why a fatty ribeye with that same Cabernet is one of the most satisfying pairings in the world. And the regional principle explained why Rioja and lamb, Burgundy and game, Barolo and braised beef are each so deeply satisfying. They're regional duets that have been refined over centuries. Thursday, we went and talked difficult foods. Spicy food needs a low alcohol and some sweetness to counter the heat, specifically because alcohol amplifies spice. Off-dry Riesling. Sushi needs neutral, umami-compatible wine that won't fight the raw fish and soy. Dry champagne or unoaked Chardonnay. Eggs coat the palate and either need acidity to cut through the body to match, champagne again, or a textured white Burgundy. Vinaigrette challenges wine with its acidity, so only high-acid wines survive, such as Sauvignon Blanc and Riesling. And artichokes and asparagus contain specific compounds that interact with the wine, so the solution is mostly crisp, unoaked whites, particularly Riesling and Gruner Veltliner. Friday, we talked cheese, and the biggest takeaway here was that the regional principle is more reliable here than anywhere else. French cheese with French wine, Spanish cheese with Spanish wine, and you guessed it, Italian with Italian. And the tannic red with cheese pairing is much more problematic than the conventional wisdom suggests. Aged, softened wines, sweet wines, and white wines are almost always better choices than young tannic reds with most cheese. Blue cheese with sweet wine is the pairing revelation that converts almost everyone who encounters it for the first time. My personal top 5 pairings from the week. Number 1, oysters and muscadet sur lie, the pairing that most perfectly demonstrates the regional principle, the weight principle, and the acidity principle simultaneously. Number 2, off-dry German Riesling with Thai food, the most underused and most effective pairing for a food situation millions of people encounter weekly. Number 3, champagne with sushi, the sparkling wine pairing that works in every situation and is genuinely extraordinary with raw fish. Number 4, Chardonnay with Roquefort, sweet wine with blue cheese, the classic that sounds wrong until you try it and then you'll never forget it. And number 5, a well-chosen Pinot Noir served slightly chilled with a salmon fillet, the red wine with fish pairing that converts skeptics every time. Your 3-sentence wine and food cheat sheet. 1, weight matches weight. Match the body and the intensity of your wine to the richness and weight of your food, and most pairings will work. 2, acid and tannin cut fat. Reach for high-acid wines with rich food and make sure any tannic red is paired with food that has enough fat and protein for the tannins to bind with. 3, when in doubt, regional pairings almost always works. The wines and the foods of any region have been calibrated to each other over centuries, and that accumulated wisdom is almost always a reliable shortcut. And final thought that I hope is the takeaway for the whole week. You don't need a chart or a rule book. You need just 3 simple principles and the willingness to pay attention to what's in the glass and on the plate to ask whether they're making each other better. That question, is the wine making the food better, and is the food making the wine better, is the whole wine and food pairing condensed to its essence. Ask it every time you sit down with a glass. The answers, accumulated over many meals and many bottles, will teach you everything. Next week, we're going to go somewhere new. Stay subscribed, and we'll see you Monday. That's today's Daily Decant. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe and share with your friends so you can continue building your wine knowledge in just a few minutes a day. See you tomorrow for the next Decant.